What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and to Tackle Talk Tuesday. Today we're going to be discussing lingo. You're walking down your local bait shop aisle, you're looking at the lures, floor to ceiling. They're talking top water, they're talking floating, sinking, slow suspend, fast suspend, subsurface. What does it all mean? What do these terminologies mean in relation to the baits? In today's video, that's exactly what we're going to be discussing. The difference between a topwater bait and a floating bait, and a slow suspend and a fast suspend, and where to use these types of baits. So stay tuned and enjoy the video. I'm going to start with a topwater bait. A topwater bait stays on the surface. So you'll be working it along, and no matter what you do to it, it stays floating, unless a fish grabs it and they pull it under. But a topwater bait stays floating. There's multiple different types. We're not going to get into that on this video. But topwater bait stays on the surface, except for a buzz bait. A buzz bait is an exception to the rule. It sinks, and whenever you reel it in, the blade lifts the bait and makes it a topwater bait. It's not made to be ran under the water. So this is an exception to the rule. It's a sinking topwater bait, but we're not talking too much about buzz baits today in this video. So your hard baits that are labeled topwater are going to float. So that is, no matter what you do, they stay on the surface. That's what makes a topwater a topwater. Floating baits differ from a topwater because upon retrieve, they will sink. They got a lip on them. A lot of them, most of them will have a lip. Different types, you know, different lips, different, bigger the lip, different shape of the lip, different depths they go. But whenever you stop the retrieve, they float back to the surface. Whenever you start the retrieve, they go down. Stop the retrieve, they go back to the surface. So that's what makes a floating bait different from a topwater bait. Upon retrieve, it'll go down, and then whenever the retrieve is stopped, it sinks, it floats back to the surface. Now, a subsurface bait is designed to be ran in the very upper water column, like from the surface down to maybe a foot deep, 6 inches, somewhere in there. But it's made to be just ran right underneath the surface of the bait. So it's not quite a topwater, and it's not quite a sinking bait, because it sinks so slow that whenever you retrieve it, it runs in the upper foot of the water column. So they call that a subsurface bait, because it's right underneath the surface. Where technically any bait under the surface is subsurface, you can expect a subsurface bait to be used in the upper 1 foot of the water column. A slow suspend bait, you throw it out and it slowly sinks to the bottom. Whenever you give it a jig, it comes back up, kind of twitches to the top, and then slowly sinks back down. It's good in, like, I like it in 5 foot or less. You know, it's pretty. It's a pretty safe zone. You let it sink down, couple twitches, comes back up. A fast suspend bait will pretty much do the same thing. It just sinks at a faster rate of speed. So if you're fishing deeper water, it's better to use a fast suspend bait, because it'll get down to the depth where the fish are at a quicker rate. Your slow suspend will eventually get there. It's just you got to sit and wait for a long time. A fast suspend will get down to the bait faster. And again, whenever you twitch it, it comes back up to the surface and then sinks back down. Now, a sinking bait just goes straight to the bottom. Whenever you reel it, it'll maintain the depth that you have it in, and as soon as you stop reeling it, it just sinks. It doesn't have any buoyancy to it at all. So there's no slow suspend, there's no fast suspend. You throw it out there, you pretty much count per second. 1 second, 1 foot. 2 seconds, 2 foot. So that way you know how deep it's going. Whenever you retrieve it, it's gonna maintain the depth that it's in. Maybe it'll go a little bit deeper, but that's better for, you know, deep scenarios, somewhere where you're trying to get down, you know, 15, 20, 30 feet deep. We don't use a lot of sinking out on the flats. I don't anyway. But they're great in the creeks, deep water. You can these rattle traps especially, you can yo-yo them and do different techniques to them that you can't do with some of the other baits. So you know, that's the different types and what each one means, and hope this video got something out of it, and stay tuned for the next one. Every Tuesday we'll be dropping a Tackle Talk Tuesday. Thanks for watching.